Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Ron Hupscher. He's the founder and CEO of the Sales Optimization Group. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you, Gerhard. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So let's talk about something that a lot of salespeople don't talk about, which is trust. How do you create trust with a customer?
You know, it's really interesting, Gerhard. There's been the concept of the trusted advisor that's been around for 20, 30 years. And what we found, we did a study and we found that that concept has become sort of obsolete, almost like the rotary phone. And it's really important to develop different levels and layers of trust.
How should salespeople and sales managers transform the conversation so that there's a higher level of trust?
Yeah, and there's actually 4 levels of trust. The first is sort of foundational trust. You know, are you a trustworthy person? Do you represent good products and good companies? And that's the kind of thing people can learn from LinkedIn, doing a Google search, understanding about you, and they'll get that from the interaction. Are you listening to them, right? Are you paying attention? The next level is sort of the product expert. So they'll listen to what you have to say, they'll analyze your needs, come up with a great solution, they'll tell you how great the solution is for you, they'll simplify it, and they'll make sure that that product is a great fit. And then the third level is they'll really get into it. They'll start understanding, what are the financial implications for you, your company, what are your risk profiles, how does this fit for you, how is this going to make your job better, and how will this fit your whole corporate strategy. And that's the third level of trust, and that's where people traditionally thought was a trusted advisor. And then there's another level where it's really, everything moves so fast today in the internet, that they're looking for whatever solution you put in today, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line, it may have to be totally retweaked. So they're looking for a company and an organization that's really looking out for a customized solution that they can constantly upgrade and sort of do a health checkup and have a constantly upgradable solution.
So let's look at the other side of trust, because there are trust issues in a relationship where you can lose the customer's trust very quickly, almost overnight, and where you can jeopardize the trust. So they're really 2 separate areas. Can you explain those?
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing you ever want to do is lose a customer's trust, because once you've done that, you'll never get it back. So you always want to keep moving up the trust continuum, and you want to understand from that customer what an ideal relationship looks like. And one of the things I always look for, and one of the questions I'll ask as part of my discovery questions, besides sort of the standard discovery, is, what would an ideal relationship look like for you? What would make this relationship a perfect 10 for you right now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, whatever that time frame is. So I always want to make sure that I'm going by what their idea of a 10 is, and completely customize my solution to what they're looking for.
So I'll give you an example that maybe we can discuss that to explain how trust can be built to a higher level. Let's say you make a mistake with a customer, or let's say you discover a mistake that you actually sent, let's say, 2 invoices to a customer. The question is, what should you do if a mistake was made?
Yeah, and absolutely, and it's actually interesting. If you actually make an honest mistake, you actually have a chance to enhance your credibility and your trust by, I would call them up, address it, say, hey, we're really sorry. We sent this out completely our mistake, and thank you for helping us make us a better company. We're going to fix that mistake. And what can I do to you to show you our gratitude for helping us fix this? So not only turn that mistake around with your integrity and your honesty, but also make them feel good and just say, hey, in order to help you with this issue in the future, or can I invite you down to a conference, or what can I do to make you feel good about working with us? So you can turn that mistake into a positive.
So what about if the trust is broken because you didn't acknowledge the mistake?
Yeah, and if you break trust, then you're down, I talked about 4 levels of trust. Even if you're at level 1 of trust, it's really not that, it doesn't get you all that much, but if you can't even get to that foundational trust, you violated that, the whole foundation of the house collapses. So you're gone. They'll go with someone who can supply something similar, who they have a higher level of confidence with.
So when you talk about the trust curve, can you actually plot that?
Yeah, and that's really what we undertook. So you can actually figure what the verifiable outcomes are on that trust curve, and you can objectively walk through and say, have I accomplished this? Have I accomplished that? And you can know whether you're level 1, 2, 3, or 4. And moving up a level usually doubles sales performance. So your close rates will typically double. Your resell rates, so the ability to upsell and cross-sell will double. And actually, on the number of referrals, it typically triples. So even if you were like that level 3, you're still only doing about 50% of where you could be if you just raise it to that level 4.
So Ron, let's shift the scenario between buyer and seller. Because some salespeople actually get deceived by a client because some salespeople say buyers are liars because they want to get a better deal. So what should salespeople do to get the buyer to be honest?
Well, you know, it's always interesting. I always think there's checking in and trust checks along the way. So you want to always be asking the client, one, what can I be doing better? Where do I rank against my competitors? You know, of all the companies you're considering, how do we stand? You know, would we be your number one choice? So I always want to do those check-ins, and I want to make sure I'm verifying along the way that I'm getting correct information.
Awesome. So for anybody who would like to get more information, go to the salesoptimizationgroup.com.
Thank you,
Ron.
Gerhard.